You will note here that just to hold the shape of the boat, I've just put some temporary string in there to hold it together until we place the snub bow in place. But that's sitting nicely on that stand. Setting the bow snub section into the bottom, the string supporting the front of the bow on the bottom remains in place while we put some stitches in. Then once it have some of those stitches, we can remove that piece of string and continue stitching. Now, having removed the string that was temporarily just holding the front in place, I've put in the 4 stitches, which I did before removing the string, leaving them loose, and when the string was cut, the bow snub section slipped into place and were pulled tight. Now you'll notice that little proud corner above the top stitches. You may have to just fair that in when the side comes so it all fits together nicely, but there will be some small amount of adjusting to be made with the pieces, but a little bit of patience and it'll all come together nicely. At this point, now that I've secured the snub that did fit very neatly into the 2 bottom halves, I'm going to turn this part of the boat that we've built upside down on the boat stand to start stitching on the sides. Now I've just turned the bottom section and the snub, the snub has been attached to it, upside down on the boat trolley, and because of the length, it is longer of course than the boat trolley, I've just used a sawhorse and a block of wood just to prop up the keel at the back, and I can start stitching the sides on at this point. Now this is one of the trickiest parts, and you'll notice that I've used whatever I can get my hands on, a little toolbox, a sawhorse, but if you're blessed and you have someone who can help you, just hold it in place until you get a few stitches in. It'll be a lot easier, but I'm trying to do this as one who doesn't have a great deal of help. Occasionally my wife will just come out when I'm in a little bit of trouble, but once you get this going, you'll start from one side at the front and start from the other side from the front simultaneously and pull them in. I might add at this point you can pull up tight those keel stitches, but as you're doing these, keep them a bit loose to start with, and then when it all comes into shape you can nip them up. Now working along the side, you can best to put a couple of stitches at distances and then stitch in between them. Now the most difficult part with this is, if you're doing it by yourself, is trying to get it all to go together. If you have somebody to help you, or alternatively there is another way of doing it by putting little boots along underneath your frame. So I'll just get one and demonstrate. This is the bow snub frame of an 8-foot dinghy, and you'll notice the little boots that I've attached to the frame just to hold that side while you're going along and stitching it. Now this particular frame was a Roberts 8-foot dinghy, and there's a lot of work in those, shaping the bow to take your nails and screws, and we've overcome a lot of that hard work now with the stitch and glue method. Working on the other side now, just by putting a support boot and with a couple of clamps to hold your side up while you're trying to get the front organised, it made it a lot easier. Now, the object of this exercise I'm doing now is to avoid the building of the jig, strong back jig. I'm putting this 11-foot dinghy together just by using the boat carrier with the swimming pool noodles on top of it to show that we can do this in this particular way. Now the hull on this 11-foot shark dinghy has just been made up in MDF, using MDF to convert to patterns. It looks a bit like a porcupine at the moment, but we're ready to turn it over and have a look at the inside. And this one has been built just on the boat trolley.